Wow, I am live. I am live. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel for those who are watching me back because by right now nobody is inside. Is in. Uh, for those who are watching me for the that was not cute. Okay, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. Lord. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my god. I think we started on a good note. I made myself laugh. So do we expect too much from love today? Unrealistic expectations in relationships. Unrealistic expectations in relationships. That's what we are gonna be talking about today. I think we've talked about this before, but right now we are going to be doing an updated one. Okay, an updated one. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. Let me update something out here. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wamboy Javia Lewis. Oh, Lewis. Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing? Today we are talking about do we expect too much from love today? Unrealistic expectations in relationships. So you're going to be updating our unrealistic expectations. So let me know, especially for those who are in the dating pool. Let me know some of the updated unrealistic expectations, okay? Unrealistic expectations in relationships. My good name is Wamboy and this is I am Wamboy Live. I normally go every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So always be looking for me at that time. So everybody wants loyalty, money, emotional intelligence, communication, romance, consistency, healing, good looks, ambition, and peace. Everything. Talk about everything, okay? But can you get all of those things from one person? Okay, we are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Let me know, because most of us are in the dating scene. Let me know what are some of the things that you've come across and you are like, that's unrealistic. And maybe I would like to hear men and women's opinions. I would like to hear men's opinions because I would like to see what's unrealistic to them also for the women. But of course, I will be speaking from a woman's perspective. Okay, but that's what it is right now, guys. So kindly like and subscribe, okay? Because I think gone are the days when people used to just meet randomly and just start a family, stay together. You know, gone are those days when like love used to be impromptu, unplanned, and all of that. Right now, I feel like social media or maybe the podcast that we are listening to have preached to us like, you know, you're more than enough, know your worth, and all those things. Like everybody says all those things, and most of us have decided to grab that and run away with it. So, which means we are literally, it's literally getting out of control. It's literally getting out of control. Like we are giving each other a hard time, you know. Dundi Mnaemeka says, my Africa queen, I love you. Okay, welcome to the live stream, Dundi. Well, how are you doing? So what are some of the unrealistic expectations that you've been seeing on the dating pool? I feel like when we talk about gender roles, there's unrealistic expectation whereby some men want traditional women while offering modern commitment. Okay, you want a lady who submits. Okay, you know, you want a lady who submits. You want a lady who when you come home there's warm water for you to shower, she starts the shower for you. You want a lady who is a traditional lady, a lady who serves you when you come home, she does the house chores, but you also want her to work. Okay, so how does that work? Okay, and also for the women, some women want traditional providers. You want a man who provides exclusively, while at the same time you want total independence. You don't want to submit, you don't want to be obedient. Okay, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to that. Dundi says, I'm fine. What are we discussing today? We're talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Do we expect too much from love today? Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that, like, maybe you've approached women and then somebody tells you, oh, I expect you to do this and this for me, or I expect my man to be this and this way. But then you're like, oh my God, like, that's out of reach. I can't do that. Researcher says hi to you, good to see you, welcome to the live stream. What are some of the unrealistic expectations that you guys have been experiencing on the dating pool? Okay, I feel like there is a problem because most of us, we are expecting one person to fulfill all our needs. Okay, you just met someone, you want them to act like your dad, you want them to be your therapist, your counselor, your partner, your sexual partner, your all of those things, provider, soulmate. I feel like gone are the days where, like, love used to just be love. Right now, we are looking at a lot. Okay, we are looking at a lot. What can you provide? Okay, what are you bringing to the table? We are looking at all of those things. So I feel like modern dating is putting too much pressure in relationships. Gone are the days where, like, it used to just be impromptu, random, and all of that. Right now, you gotta tell me what material or thing are you bringing on the table? Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. So are standards getting too high today? Let me type that for you guys. Are standards getting too high today? And I feel like it's both men and women. We would like to sit here and say that, like, women are the one who are acting as if we have standards. I also feel men have also raised their standards. Okay, they want a woman who knows how to cook full course meals. They want a woman who doesn't club or doesn't drink alcohol. They want a woman who is domesticated and she's been staying at home. They want a woman who is not very educated because they feel the educated ones have already been misused or used. Okay, and I'm not pulling these things from nowhere. I am a graduate from Moi University, and when I was in campus, I still have friends from my campus days. So we still talk, and then they're like, they would prefer to marry somebody who never went to campus because to them, people who went to campus are used or something. Okay. Dundi says, I have someone that keeps saying men have to take care of ladies in every way. Okay. So is that unrealistic to you? Is that unrealistic? Is that an unrealistic expectation? Okay. Because first of all, like, if she wants a man to take care of her in every way, she also must be willing to, like, submit and maybe stay at home, because I feel like that's traditional roles. Okay, if you want a man who takes care of you exclusively, you gotta be willing also to take care of him exclusively when it comes to, like, service in the household and stuff like that. So, but what do you guys think? So, Dundi, is that unrealistic expectation? Guys, please answer the question. Are standards getting too high today? Okay, are standards getting too high today? Are we in the same world? Are we in the same world when it comes to dating? Because I just feel like it's too much. Okay, also, I also feel like there's another unrealistic expectation that men are having these days. You want to sit down and watch pornography for like 5 hours, and then you want to come and try that on your woman. I feel like that's unrealistic. These people who are recording this pornography, they're getting paid to do that, so they would do that. Okay, so I feel like it's unrealistic the way men are watching pornography these days. Okay, remember, we're talking about, do we expect too much from love today? I feel like it's unrealistic the way men are watching pornography and then wanting to practice it on their women. For example, let's talk about anal sex. Okay, it's as weird as it sounds, you guys. Let's talk about anal sex. Who said that it's a must if you guys are married? It's a must, like, you have anal sex. That's one of the unrealistic expectations that I'm seeing, and I'm like, this is just too much. Okay, so I feel like it's unrealistic that men expect their women at home to act like the women that they see on social media. So that's unrealistic. Let me know, some of you and I know you guys were not ready for that, but I feel like anal sex is being normalized too much, and if you don't do it, it's like, oh, you're not cool or blah blah blah. But also, it's like, you know what, sir, go and watch your pornography, but don't come and want to test it on a whole human. No, no, no. Okay, let me know. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations. So I feel like another one is financial expectation. Okay, most people are dating lifestyles instead of people. You're dating. Most of us, you're dating someone because of what they can give, not because of who they are, not because of the personality that they bring to the table, not because of how they care and love you, not because of how they show up for you in times of need, not because of all those things, but because of monetary value. I feel like that's unrealistic. Okay, I am somebody who sat here on this channel, my channel, and said several times that, like, as a woman, you have no business getting with a man who hasn't figured himself out. I think I've said that like 1,000 times. Like, I've said, like, you literally have no business getting with a man who hasn't figured himself out. Okay, because the time a man is figuring himself out with you, it's not pretty. And I say that because I grew up in such a scenario where, like, my parents were figuring themselves out together, but it wasn't the best. Like, we didn't have the best lifestyle, we didn't have the best things that are out there. We didn't have that. So that's why I say, for me, a man have to be at least financially stable. At least he can hold me up or something. But I feel like we've turned it to, like, totally commercial. Oh, what is this person doing for you? What is he providing? What is he bringing? Dundi says the financial aspect has taken the role of true love. Okay, let me tell you, if you don't have money as a man, I don't know. Yeah, but on the bright side, for the men, if, like, your only interest is, like, let's say, having sexual advances with a lady, on the bright side, there's a lot of people who are selling, so there's also that. Terry Ann says hi. Hi to you, Terry Ann. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Let me know, what are some of the unrealistic expectations that people are having, either men and women. Okay, I just mentioned that, like, the financial stuff. The financial one have gotten out of control. Like, right now, you can't find love if you don't have finances, which is literally, I support people looking for partners who have something of their own, like, something, they are bringing something to the table. But then at the same time, I don't feel like it's cool for it to just turn, like, it's just financial, nothing else. It's just financial. I just don't feel like it's cool. Okay, I think I've mentioned about the way, like, people are expecting, you get into a relationship, you're not healed, you expect your partner to be your best friend, your therapist, your provider, your motivator, your soulmate, your, all those things. You want your partner, one person, to be all those things to you. Okay, so I feel like most of us should, like, heal fast before getting into relationships. So another realistic expectation that I just mentioned is, like, people have the things that people are seeing online. Let's say you are watching pornography, you want to come and project it on your partner, like, they need to do that, and if not, now you don't feel like they're cool enough for you. So I feel like that's also some of the unrealistic expectations. So you guys, let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you've come across, or something that a lady or a guy have said to you, and you are like, who do you think you are? Like, would do you think you are expecting me to do that? Okay, so, or something else that I said is, like, anal sex. Okay, people are, like, it's now a basic need. Okay, it's now a basic need, like, and especially married women, and I feel like mostly after they give birth, their men are forcing them to, like, have anal sex with them, because, of course, it's tighter back there or something. But I feel like some of these things, that's unrealistic. Like, if you wanted to be having, okay, and I know it depends with how you want to enjoy yourself, that's your call. But if your partner is not comfortable with such things, why are you pushing it? Okay, why are you pushing it? Okay, so another thing is, like, the influence of relationship advice. Podcasts and social media gurus constantly tell people to never settle. Okay, so for example, you can come here on my YouTube channel, okay, and then all this time I'm telling you guys, do not settle, don't settle for less, you're more than enough, you're worth it, like, oh my god, let nobody tell you anything, sister, clock it, girl, period. There's all of those things. And let me tell you that right now I have limited the amount of podcasts that I usually watch, especially when it comes to, like, the ones that are telling me, oh, you girl, you're more than worth it, what are you doing cohabiting with a man, like, all those things, like, people who just want to sit here on these channels or like on this podcast and act as if like their life is perfect, and as if they don't make mistakes when it comes to love, when it comes to like such things. Okay, and I feel like the podcast and social media and the whole thing have played a whole another thing when it comes to the expectations, because they are telling you who you will become, but these people are not practicing these things. These are just things that they say on the social media just so that they can sound politically correct and so that they can get views, because of course that get monetized. Azinga says, hi to you, Azinga. Welcome to the live stream. We are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships, and mostly we are focusing on, do we expect too much from love today? Do we expect too much from love today? I have talked about the unrealistic expectation that I've seen as a person. I've talked about when it comes to financial aspect, especially women projecting that on men. I feel like we are putting so much pressure on men when it comes to like finances. Also, where I stand at, like, I also believe that like men should be at least be somewhere, like, because of course I grew up in a place where like I just know, I just wish like my mom would have gone for at least a financially stable person. But okay, that is neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is like, people are watching pornography and then they are projecting that into relationships. Another thing, there's a lot of financial expectation that we are putting on the men. Okay, something else is like, some men want women who are doing their traditional, are behaving their traditional way, but also for them they're offering the modern the modern settlement. Okay, so it's not realistic for you to want your woman to be domesticated, but you're out there, you want her to work, you're out there, you're literally, that can't work like that. So let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you guys have seen. So another unrealistic expectation that I've seen is like the whole thing with like sexual expectation. When it comes to social media, I think we are learning a lot, okay? And most people have embraced watching pornography, okay? So, but it's not a problem people doing that, but like projecting that in real life, wanting somebody to give you that in real life is literally unrealistic. They can, I'm not saying that they cannot, but you just don't want some girl there. That's what they do. That's their career, okay? Like they're just, they're just so flexible, these wild positions, but you want to watch that and then at the end of the day come and practice it with your girl, okay? You want to scroll on social media the whole day, Instagram, looking at these fine girls, and then when you come home to your partner, you are like, oh my god, why don't you do like that woman that I saw on social media, okay? Another thing is like, there's a lot of podcasts that are telling people never to settle. I feel like there's a lot of podcasts who are preaching preaching wine while preaching water while drinking wine, okay? So that's also another unrealistic expectation that I've seen. So you guys, let me pin this question so that you guys can so are standards getting too high today? Are standards getting too high today? So let me know some of the things that you guys are thinking. Okay, Jackson says, okay, but how will this affect LeBron's legacy? That's it. Okay, it affects his legacy because I don't know. Welcome to the live stream, Jackson. Okay. Some of the other thing is instant gratification. People leave relationships quickly after conflict. Like right now, nobody is trying to educate you. Nobody is trying to like tell you, Suya, I don't want you to be doing that. Do this instead. Okay? No, I feel like right now we just, oh, you're pissing me off. We are married. Let's get divorced tomorrow. Done. Final. Okay, I feel like the availability of dating sites and dating apps and endless options made people less patient. The fact that like even if you get you don't even if you get rid of your partner today, you get a divorce or like you guys break up, tomorrow you will have another partner. Okay, you will have another partner and that's it. I feel like that have made people to be less patient in relationships. Okay, so I feel like it's unrealistic for you to expect that you're living with the whole human being, you're getting married to a whole human being, you're in a relationship with the whole another human being. You guys are not the same. It's unrealistic for somebody to expect that like that person is just going to be 100%. It's unrealistic to expect another person to do things that will 100% make you feel good, okay? That's unrealistic, okay? Guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Omboy. Can you like and subscribe? I would really appreciate that. So we're talking about, do we expect too much from a relationship? Unrealistic expectations in relationships, okay? Also, I normally go live every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So you guys look for me around that time. Also, make sure you're contributing to the topic right now. Let me know some of the things that you've gone through in relationships, or some of the things that people have said to you that they want you to do. And then you are like, I ain't gonna do that, okay? I feel like another thing is soft life changing relationship expectations, okay? We've become so much absorbed with the whole like soft life thing, and I am part of the whole thing. I just want to live a soft life, okay? We all want to have a soft life. Nobody wants to have a hard life. We all want a soft life, a life with no issues, a soft life, a calm life with no chaos. We all want that, okay? But that is also making us not to be patient when it comes to relationships, okay? So let me know some of the things that you guys have been noticing when it comes to relationships. Also, I'm gonna be typing uh, I'm going to be typing some questions. Let me see. So do you think love should survive financial struggle? Do you think love should survive financial struggle? Guys, remember we are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships, and do we expect too much from love today? Do we expect too much from love today? Do you think love should survive financial struggle? Do you think love should survive financial struggle? Because honestly, these days, love is not surviving anything. Really. Okay. Do you think love should survive financial expectations? Okay, God, so do you think love should survive financial struggle? Do you think love should survive financial struggle? I think love should survive financial struggle, but is love surviving financial struggle these days? Let's say you guys were just good, like when it comes to financially, you guys were doing fine, and then for absolutely no reason, something happens that changes your financial status. Uh, but do you think that your love can survive financial struggle, or like financial, what are they called, ups and downs, okay? I feel like social media have created a delusion of what relationships should look like, okay? Oh my god, so and so got gifted a car yesterday. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the truth is some of these people, like, they've looked for the money together, and then they act as if the other person gifted the other one, okay? I feel like social media have created delusion when it comes to relationships and what they should look like. Like, it's supposed to be this perfect thing, you know? The same thing with, like, when it comes to, like, what, for example, right now when I want to shoot a video or to record a video, I don't record it on the worst part of the house. I just look for the perfect corner, somewhere where, like, people will think, oh my god, that's cool, you know? You don't show your flaws on social media, and I feel like that's what we should remind ourselves. And you know what, I do this recording and stuff, like showing my, okay, of course we do this show every day, but also sometimes I'll be scrolling and I see some people and I'm like, oh my god, these people are living such a good life. What did I do wrong? Like um so I feel like modern relationships or modern dating rewards fantasy, not commitment, okay? So what's one expectation people have that's unrealistic? Let me type that. What's one expectation that people have that's unrealistic? What's one expectation that people have that's unrealistic when it comes to dating? Okay, uh okay, let me say mine real quick, the ones that I've already said. I've said the financial expectation. You don't have anything, but you expect the other person to magically have everything figured out. Okay, you don't have a car, you want somebody with with a Range Rover, with a G-Wagon, with a Mercedes Benz, and you don't even have a bicycle to your name. Okay, I feel like that's, as far as I want to say, okay, it's good if your man have those things, but I feel like sometimes that's unrealistic. You don't even have a bicycle or even a toy car to your name. For example, for me, okay, uh, so for example, for me, like, I don't have a bicycle to my name. Like, okay, it's okay for me to like, my man to have a car, but the fact that I don't even have a bicycle to my name, so I feel like me saying that I want a man with a Mercedes Benz, I want a man with a Mercedes Benz, a Range Rover, and I feel like that's unrealistic, because most of the time, yes, you want to meet somebody who is on another level than you are, but sometimes is not about, like, you don't even have a bicycle to your name, and you want somebody with what, with a Mercedes. I just feel it's unrealistic, to be really honest with you guys. Another thing that I feel like is really unrealistic, to expect someone to, like, be a complete provider when literally you're literally not bringing anything to the table. Another thing that's unrealistic is the way I feel like the way the way I feel like men want women to be domesticated, to be house women, to be women, to be not very exposed, while when these women are not working, of course they are domesticated, they don't want to be providers, they feel like they're being disturbed when somebody is asking, when their wife is asking them, can you please buy us this and that. So I feel like that's unrealistic. So you want a traditional woman while you're offering modern settlement. Okay, I feel like it's unrealistic for a woman to expect a man to be a provider, to be all those traditional roles, while she still wants her independence, and she still wants not to be submissive. Okay, that's just me. Let me know some of yours. And let's read them out loud. I'm gonna read everybody's comments. Okay, remember, you guys, we're talking about unrealistic expectations, and do we expect too much from love today? Okay, that's what we're talking about. Let me read your comments. Jackson says, what expectations should you expect from love, and what are unrealistic? Okay. I feel like something that you should expect from love is loyalty. Complete loyalty. You should expect that from love. Also, you should expect support, full support, emotional support. You should expect emotional availability from your partner. You should expect protection from your partner. You should expect, of course, you should expect conjugal rights. Those are some of the things that you should expect. Some of the things that are unrealistic is like expecting somebody to be something that they are really not. You don't even have a bicycle to your name, and you want a person with a Mercedes. That just doesn't make sense. Jax, okay, Mafelesi says, I want my name in yellow. Oh, I think that just only belongs to the owner of the channel. One boy. Okay, Mafelesi, welcome to the live stream. Brian Brian Gare Washira says, Mercedes will look for you. Okay, amen. Let the Mercedes look for me, but it's literally unrealistic to say here, like, and say, I can't date someone. I can't date you unless you have a Mercedes. I don't do people with no Mercedes. I just feel like that's crazy. If you don't even own a bicycle, that's crazy. Jackson says, so you think your expectations should be based off where you are in life. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you feel like your expectations should be based off where you are in life? No. You know what? Something about me, where I am in life, and where I am in life, or where I've been in life, that has not been what I've expected off of myself. Okay, I have very high expectations of myself. Let me tell you, people who know me from back in the day and who know where I come from and stuff know that like I have very high expectations of myself. Okay, I grew up in a village, really poor and stuff, but also that have not stopped me a little bit to become who I want to be, or to become the things that to pursue the things that I want to pursue. But I feel like when it comes to like expectations that you have of another person, they shouldn't be through the roof, because the person who you should have higher expectation of is yourself. Honestly, that's just what I believe in. Although at the same time, I feel like for me to be able to settle with a man, he gotta have something to his name, because we're not gonna be fighting about not having salt in the house. No, there's there's other important things that we could be fighting about, not about salt and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah. Mafelesi says, guys, remember you're talking about unrealistic expectations. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you feel like people have and people give. Okay, Mafelesi says, yeah, you shouldn't work. Women should take care of the kids. Come on, we are not Americans. You know, picking firewood, carrying water bucket. I love that. Okay, you know, first of all, I see what you're saying, but you can say women shouldn't work and also have a problem providing. Okay, you know, I feel like the problem is like men want to say women shouldn't work. You want to say that women shouldn't work, and then you provide peanuts. Okay, you want to say women shouldn't work, but when a woman tells you, you know what, Suya, there's no salt in the house, you want to cause chaos, you want to fight. Okay, you can say women can't work, where like when women are not working during their periods, you're not providing for you're not providing good care. You are like, why can't you just why can't you just cut the mattress and use that? You know, I feel like I feel like that ain't no, like, it's not news. Okay, it's not news, and it's not this is not new information to us. These are things that happen. Okay, women have stayed home for years, especially in African countries. Women have stayed home for years, digging the land, cleaning the household and stuff like that. Okay, they have done that, but whenever there's no salt in the house, now the man wants to fight. When there's no school fees, now the man wants to fight. When there's no basic need, you know, I feel like the reason why, first of all, even there was ever a fight for women to have equal rights and even to work, is because you want to provide, but still at the same time you want to feel like you're in control. Because you're providing some peanuts, you want to put your hands on your lady. I feel like that's the problem with Felicity. Also, women would want to stay at home and take care of the children, but that ain't it for everybody. Okay, Mafelesi says we are the providers, and I don't take that away from men. I know men love to be providers. I don't take that away from men, but at the same time I know the other side to men. Like, somebody will provide to you exclusively, and then now they want to control you. They want to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, who you should talk to, who you shouldn't, how you should carry yourself, which religion you should go to, all those things. Okay, don't worry about that. Yeah, how can you not worry? How can you not worry? Guys, remember we're talking about unrealistic expectations. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you've seen in today's society. Chaukweki says, let the fathers work. And I have no problem with that. Let the fathers work. Okay? But at the same time, if the father is like, you work, and when the woman asks you for something, you want to fight, you want to put your hands on your lady, you know, if that's the case, like, if you can be a provider and don't fight, don't put your hands on your lady when there's nothing in the house, don't tell your lady to cut the mattress during the time of the month she doesn't have pads. Okay, because I feel like that's the problem, because that's the last thing you want to hear. You're having your periods, you don't usually work, you stay at home, take care of this man's children, you're having that time of the month, and this man out of nowhere says, oh, I don't have money right now, can you go and cut the mattress? Honestly. So let me know some of the unrealistic expectations you guys that people are having. Mafelasi says, are you married? Though, does it matter? Does it matter if I'm married or not? These are realistic things. Does it matter? If it matters, I'll tell you if I'm married or not. Okay? But so let me know some of the unrealistic expectations. I did say that, like, some of the other thing that is making uh marriages or like relationships to have unrealistic expectations is the podcast. People sitting on podcast saying, oh my god, you're more than enough, you guys, you're more than enough. But these people are not doing that behind the scenes. My fellows is like, oh, I am engaged, but I've never been married before, so okay. Uh, so guys, we're still talking about unrealistic expectations. So what's one expectation that people have that's unrealistic? Okay, what's one expectation that people have that's unrealistic? So let me know some of don't you guys have things? Okay, Mafelesi, let me know something that women ask for that for you it's like unrealistic. Also maybe Jackson, everybody, let me know some of the things that you've heard from women or even from men that's unrealistic. Okay. So I feel like a lot of people are single because nobody can meet their expectations. Okay, as I was saying, I honestly believe that you should have high expectations of yourself, but not others. Don't sit there. Don't sit there. You don't even have. Let's say when it comes to owning a home, okay, you don't even have what is a shark, okay, but you want a man who owns a mansionette. Okay, you want a man who owns a mansion near, like, next to the beach. You want a beach house. You want a man with a beach house. These things don't make sense. They can make sense if you want them to, but they really don't make sense. Tobia Wamalo says, how are you, baby girl? I'm good. How are you doing? So let me know some of the unrealistic expectations. Also, I did say another unrealistic expectation is like sexually, okay? I feel like men have unrealistic expectations when it comes to sexual endeavors with their women, okay? Because you want to go there, out there, you want to cheat here and there, and you learn a new trick, but you want to come and make your girl do it. You want to watch pornography and then you want at the end of the day your girl to do it. You want to be scrolling and you see things that other women are doing for their men. At the end of the day, you want your woman to do that. I feel like that's unrealistic expectations because you literally want now the person that you have. you want you want to change their personality. You want to change who they are, and that's not realistic. Roberto Gonzalez. How are you doing, Roberto? Okay, welcome to the live stream, you guys. Kindly consider liking and subscribing. My name is Wamboi. I was born and raised in Kenya, and this is I Am Wamboi Live. I normally go live every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So always look for me for that at that hour. So convert that to your local time. You can always find me here. Okay. We're still talking about unrealistic expectations, and you guys are now telling me some of the things that you think are unrealistic. So, and also I feel like most of the time it's like people don't speak out their expectations when it comes to relationships. They just fall in love, and halfway there, that's when they're saying, I was expecting you have this, I was expecting you have that, I was expecting you would treat me this way, I was expecting you would treat me that way. I feel like at the beginning of the relationship, that's when you should communicate your expectations, what you expect as a man, what you expect as a woman, so that you guys can see your compatibility. So do you think expectations should only be based on personality? No. I feel like it should be all around. Financial, people should have financial expectations. But I also feel like the financial part, you should only expect, at least if you're at this level, you should at least expect somebody who is here. When a lady is at this level, you can expect somebody who is here, okay? But you can't tell me that I am at this level, but I'm expecting to have somebody who is here, okay? And when I meet somebody who is not there, I want to create chaos. So I don't think, but also let me pin your question so that some other people can see it. So I don't think that like expectations should only be based on personalities. No, I think it should be based on all around. What do you want? Okay, where do you want to live with this person? Okay, how is this person supposed to treat you? What are they into? What religion are they subscribing to? Okay, uh, what are their beliefs? Do they want children? Also another thing, financially. Also, I feel like financially is a very important aspect when it comes to like expectations in relationships. So as far as I'm saying that the people are having unrealistic financial expectation, no, I don't feel like it should be all about personality. So how about you? Because you asked the question, I'm gonna pose that question back to you. So what do you think when it comes to the same? Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Womboy. We are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Let me know some of the things that you've heard people say or somebody have said to you and you are like, as far as I want to be with you, honestly, I can't do that. Uh, okay. So, and I feel like when we started, I said everybody wants loyalty, money, emotional intelligence, communication, romance, consistency, healing, good looks, especially good looks, ambition, uh, and peace. But are we asking too much from one person? Okay. Maybe you should have like 3 people, every one of them with one of the characteristics that you want from that one person. Maybe in one relationships you're getting peace, in another one you're getting I just don't know. I just don't know, because sometimes I feel like, okay, he's not allowed to ask from somebody who loves you and somebody who is willing to do all of that for you. But sometimes I feel like it can be a lot of work. Uh, so, so you guys, according to your opinion, do you feel like relationship advice is empowering people? So, relationship advice from online places, from podcasts, social media. Do you think relationship advice online is empowering people or making them impossible to satisfy? Let me type that. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Kindly like, guys. Subscribe. Let's sub up, you guys. Let's sub up. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Welcome to the live stream. We are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations in relationships. So, do you think relationship advice that we get online, on social media, on podcasts, are they empowering people or are they making people impossible to satisfy? Okay. Welcome to the live stream. Do you think relationship advice is empowering people or making them impossible to satisfy? Okay. Do you think relationship advice that we are getting online is empowering people or making them impossible to satisfy? I would say both. Personally, I think I have read advice online or like from, I don't know, maybe Pinterest. I like scrolling on Pinterest. I'm such a girl, okay? And I have seen maybe some advice there or some quote there, and I have thought about it and it's helpful. But I feel like the advice that we are getting online is making people impossible to satisfy, because for some of us who are doing this online thing, like for example YouTube, Instagram, Facebook and stuff, people are doing this for ratings, okay? People are doing this to be politically correct so that we don't get cancelled, okay? So somebody who is like the provider in the household, a woman who is providing in the household, they will sit here on this podcast and tell you, don't never provide for a man, while they are with those videos that they are making, they are providing for a man who is sleeping in their house, okay? So there's that. Like honestly, I feel like it's making people impossible to satisfy, because some of this advice is advice that the creators are not even using. So as far as I've come across good advice, I know online there's so many good things. You can meet genuine people, you can meet good people, but you gotta be real careful with what you're consuming and how you project that in real life. So let me know the answer to this question when it comes to you. Jackson says, I think no one, especially young people, should never get advice online because 80% of it is useless. Yes, sometimes you will come across something that's helpful, but let me tell you, that's one out of 1,000, okay? Most of the time when you're scrolling here, literally there's nothing useful that you get out of these people, like, because even the things that they are saying, you can really tell you can really, I could say anything here so that I can sound politically correct and I can attract people. When you're building something, you gotta say what people want to hear. But are you doing that in real life? Nope. Okay, so that's just what, and I feel like me doing this YouTube thing have opened my eyes to that so much. Like honestly, right now, because I know before the show how I usually like set up. Before the show, I usually have chaos going on. Maybe I have shots on the couch, things going on. But when I'm setting up, I remove that. Okay, so and I assume that's what most people do when they're preparing to do the show. Like they clean up, and then they show up. Let's say they even go to a studio. So you never see them in real life. You never see real life on their side. So there's also that. Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. We're talking about unrealistic expectations when it comes to dating, and also answer the question on the screen. Do you think relationship advice that you get online or maybe from social media is empowering people or making them impossible to satisfy? I would go with like it's making people impossible to satisfy. Okay, so but also I feel like social media have also opened eyes. There are people who have been taken advantage of in relationships. Okay, I also feel like that have opened people's eyes, because most people, there are people who share their genuine stories, and by maybe listening to that, especially people who have gone through domestic violence and people who have witnessed abuse in their life, you hear another person sharing their perspective and their real life, how it was, and that kind of helps you to embrace your story, to maybe share your story, to heal from your story and stuff. So also on the other side, I feel like it's also opened so many people's eyes to like life, and like they're not the only one who are going through things. And I feel like that's the most addictive part about social media, because people are sharing their stories, and then you're like, okay, God, this person went through that. No, I want to be grateful. I want to tell God thank you, because I'm not going through that. Let's say you find somebody, they share their story about abuse, and you've never been through that. You're like, okay, that's good. There's a lot of things. So as far as I want to sit here and say that, like, social media is making relationships impossible, I gotta also sit here and tell you guys also, like, social media have made so many things possible. Okay, yeah, most people on social media are just trying to get clicks. They're not giving actual advice. Okay, and I feel like most people, just like me, of course I'm just getting started on here, I'm just getting started. Okay, so people like me who are getting started, you tend to be genuine in the beginning until it starts paying, and the more you become controversial, the better it becomes. So I feel like for most people in the beginning, and when you watch even creators, huge creators, when you watch their story, who they were before, whatever they gave the first time, that's the real them. Okay, but as their channel grows, as their platform grows, it's all about clicks and ratings. Okay, So yeah, yeah. Uh, let's see another. So would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established in terms of like what you're looking for? So would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? Okay, welcome to the live stream, you guys. My name is Womboy. Guys, make sure you are subscribing if you are watching this, please. Please, please, please. As far as I want to sit here and tell you guys that. Uh, oh, okay. So would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? Would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established for whatever reason? For whatever reasons they are not fully established. Uh, okay. Would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? I think I would say yes, but there are some things that you shouldn't try to compromise, or like I shouldn't try to compromise on, especially when it comes to like values, what they believe. Especially for me, like I gotta access like, what do you think about women? Do you think women? Because for me, I gotta hear like, are you someone who have the perspective like women should be disciplined, should be obeying their, it's just a pet peeve, but I gotta ask, I gotta ask because I need to know. When it comes to like, what do you believe in when it comes to who women are, who you are as a man, what you're supposed to be in that relationship. I gotta ask. It doesn't hurt me asking. It doesn't hurt me asking the questions, okay? Would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established, okay? I feel like also in the recent days, and it's very unfortunate, we've seen so many, and I could even be the next. I could. The reason even why I would even talk about this is because honestly, like right now, as a as a woman, even as a man, we are literally so vulnerable to like death. Okay, there have been so many situations where like people are losing their amazing life to they are they are they are losing their life because of wanting lifestyle, especially for us girls. There have been so many cases of like homicides, women lives being taken from them just because they loved someone or just because they wanted a good life, okay? It's really unfortunate that we are dealing with that, but does that have something to do with the expectations that we are having? Okay, is what how women want soft life these days, like, or how we want to have nice hair, nice wigs, nice cute, what are they called, outfits? Is that what is making the whole thing about? Because even the other day here in Kenya, there is a lady who lost her life. And I gotta be thinking, we can't sit here and talk about them and say like it's just because they wanted this soft life. Because we also women, and we are also on these paths. Okay, sometimes you meet someone, they are helping you out in life, and you're like, it's all perfect, but not knowing that this is the person who's gonna take your life. Uh, Jackson says, I feel like dating somebody with goals and potential is always better than dating someone who does nothing. Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one. But you need to also have the expectation, but also know what it like. As I said, if you don't have a car, don't okay, it's good for you to say, I would like a partner with a car, but don't sit there and say that like, oh, I want somebody with a Mercedes Benz. That's not realistic. So we at the same time we have to be realistic. Yeah, so somebody with goals is good. Let me pin this question so that you guys can see. Would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? Okay. Albert Mo Young. Albert Moyang. Hello, beautiful. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Albert. Welcome to the live stream. Michael Moyo says hi to you, Michael. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Wow, the fact that we have Jackson and we have Michael in this live stream, Michael Jackson. Let's keep liking. And I have a question that's been: would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? Okay, there are so many people, especially there are people who have become presidents and their spouses said they started. Okay, most people who become presidents literally don't start from nothing, but some of them start from nothing, and then their partners, you hear when they become, and their partner speech during the swearing in or something, their partner says that, like, I knew something was special about you. Okay, I knew something was special about you. I feel like if you don't date someone who has potential, maybe you see their potential, but you are like, because I can't see the full picture, let me just let you go. I feel like you would regret if, let's say, they get somewhere up there, and you are like, God, I just wish I gave you a chance. Okay, welcome to the live stream. We are talking about, do we expect too much from love today? Unrealistic expectations in relationships. What are some of the unrealistic expectations that you've seen? I've talked about, I've seen some of us women who we don't even own a bicycle to our name, but we expect to have men with Mercedes Benz, Range Rovers, all of that. As far as I want to say, that's realistic. That's literally unrealistic. To be really honest with you guys, that's really unrealistic. Sarah Washington, hi to you. Hi to you, Sarah. How are you doing? So, what are some of the unrealistic expectations that you've seen from both genders, men and women? Okay. Wow. I have a pimple that's really annoying. Okay. Some of the unrealistic expectations that you guys have seen in real life. Okay. I think, let me repeat mine because I think some of you are just joining. I said some people have unrealistic, especially for us women, we have unrealistic expectations when it comes to finances. I feel like some people have unrealistic, especially men, have unrealistic expectations when it comes to, like, sex and sexual endeavors. Somebody wants to watch pornography and you want to come and project that onto your woman. Like, if she doesn't do that, she's not freaky, she's not, all those things, she's not cool, she's not sexy, all those things. First of all, you have to realize, and this is something that I've said before, I'm just repeating for those of you who are joining. You have to realize that, like, for your partner, uh, they don't work, they don't work on these pornographies that you're watching. Okay, you're the one who is watching that and then expecting your partner to use that. Is, I feel like that's unrealistic. Okay, so another thing that I feel like is unrealistic is, like, sometimes people don't communicate their expectations when the relationship is starting. For example, some people are not communicating their expectations when it comes to, like, what they are into, or like what they want when it comes, of course, when it comes to sexuality. Okay, when you get with a man, and I'm not, this is just me. Listen out, don't judge me. Okay, so I feel like when it comes to sex, okay, when it comes to relationships, when you get with a woman, you expect to be having no, but I feel like right now men have normalized anal sex, and if they're not getting any anal sex, it's like, you're not cool. Listen up, like, hold up, wait a minute. When did that become so normal? And also, I feel like that should be something that is communicated at the beginning of the relationship. Okay, that should be something that you tell me, I am expecting you to be doing this, to be freaky, to be here and there during our daily activities. You gotta say that. And you guys, I hope you're subscribing, okay? Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations. It could be sexual, it could be financial, it could be physical, it should be anything. Also, you guys answer the question on the screen. Would you date someone who has potential but isn't fully established? My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. Gilbert says, love you. Okay, welcome to the live stream, Gilbert. Good to see you. Channel T54 says, you have to get a woman that matches their energy. Okay, they have to get a woman who matches their energy. Yes. So what are some of the unrealistic expectations that you've seen Channel T54. What are some of the unrealistic expectations? And maybe also I would like men to say, like, what are you looking for when it comes to ladies? And it can be financial, it could be energy wise, it could be sexual. What are you guys looking for? Wow. How do you communicate expectation without sounding rude? That's a good question. How do you communicate expectations without sounding rude? I feel like before but I'm gonna pin that. Let me pin that right now. How do you communicate your expectations without sounding rude? Wow, God, you got some good questions right there. I feel like, of course, I'm not an expert, and we are not an expert. Maybe everybody, can we contribute to that? How do you communicate your expectations? Because we are talking about unrealistic expectations. How do you communicate your expectation without sounding rude? I feel like the only way you can communicate your expectations is at the beginning of the relationship, because before you get too tangled up into everything, and before you catch feelings. Okay, I feel like that's the best time to communicate. And then you're like, this is what I'm looking for. If you're not willing to do that, I'ma keep stepping. Okay, I don't know how do you communicate your expectation without sounding rude? Because honestly, the only time that you can is at the beginning, before you catch feelings, because at that time you can say how you feel without worrying about hurting people's feelings or hurting that person's feelings, because you really don't, you care about them as a person, but it's not that deep. Okay, it's not that deep. Channel T54 says, I want a humble woman. Nowadays, women have too much attitude. I feel like that's a realistic expectation, channel. Okay, I'm joking. I want a humble woman. Nowadays, women have too much attitude. Oh, wow, that's a good one. Let me know some of your realistic and realistic expectations, you guys. Wow. But don't you feel men have made women to have the attitude by being mean, by being rude, by being controlling? Don't you feel that way? Bob, it's been a minute before I saw you. How are you doing? Yes, we do. So how we expect too much? Oh, you expect too much. So what are some of the things that you guys expect, the unrealistic ones, that it's like, nope. But also, there's a question on the screen, you guys, that by Jackson. How do you communicate your expectations without sounding rude? My realistic, is that realistic or unrealistic? Bob says my realistic expectations of women is she must be richer than me. You know. Okay, also my realistic expectation of men, he must be doing better than me, because I feel like a man who is not doing better than me as a woman, he's going to have that attitude, and the only way that he can show me that he's a man is by being abusive. Okay, so for me, a realistic expectation that I have about a man, he gotta be doing better than I am. So I don't know, Bob is a guy and he's saying his realistic expectation is like a woman have to be richer than he is. Clock it. Let me know some of your realistic and unrealistic expectations, you guys. Okay, also we have a question: how do you communicate your expectations without sounding rude? I think you just put them, you just lay them on the table, especially before you catch feelings. Jackson says, Bob, I don't think that's too realistic. Oh my God. Okay, I feel like it would be realistic for a woman to do that. For a woman to say, I want a guy who is doing better. But maybe this is just society speaking, okay? I feel like, Bob, you saying that you want a woman who is richer than you is unrealistic. That's how I feel. I feel like it would be maybe better if a woman said that. Guys, remember we're talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Do we expect too much from love today? Are we getting into relationships looking for fathers? Are we getting into relationships looking for mothers? Are we getting into relationships looking for financial aid? Are we getting into relationship thinking, is it mostly selfish? Okay, Jackson says, I wish you luck, Bob. Okay. Um, Channel 354 says, I also want a woman who is doing better than me. No, no, you guys just want to sound politically correct. Hey, I also want a woman who is doing better than me. It feels good to know my game is good enough to pull better women. No, you know, I feel like that's good until you start feeling like you're not a man. Okay, because you guys, especially men, you guys have like this ego and like masculinity, and it's really fragile. Okay, so it's good for you to look for a woman who's doing better than you until she humbles you and stuff. And the only way you can express your manhood is by fighting. Okay. Bob says, thanks, man. I'll invite you to the wedding. I won't invite Wamboy. She's judging my taste. I'm not judging. You know what I feel like? As a man, if you go for a lady who is financially stable, don't be shocked when she comes back home and puts her feet on top of the table and be like, what have you cooked? Okay? Don't be shocked when she comes back home, you haven't cleaned the house and she terrorizes you. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. You guys made your bed, just lay on it. Okay? Guys, we're still talking about unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations. Bob, don't think you had a okay, first of all, as a good friend, I gotta tell you guys the truth. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys go for it, because I feel like men's ego is just too fragile to just even witness a woman. It's just all fun and games until like you guys have children, and children respect the mother more than, yeah, I don't know. uh Bob says, nothing is out of reach for me. I'll marry rich or die single. Ah! Okay, two things. Okay, it's either you die rich or marry rich, or die single. Wow. It's a good one. It's a good one. Honestly, first of all, for me, because I had some internalized things, or like what I believed about marriage, or like what marriage should look like. Okay, honestly, there's a part of me that just okay, I'm gonna call him back. My brother is calling me. There's a part of me that just wants the perfect picture perfect marriage, because honestly, I feel like if it's to experience chaos, I've already experienced chaos before. So there's a part of me that wants the all right thing going on and stuff, but at the same time, I know like maybe that's not realistic. What a man can do, a woman can do better. Okay, no, I feel like now you're just trying to be like sarcastic or saying the exact things that women say, the exact things that women say. Okay, so moving on. So maybe for Bob and maybe Channel 54, because you guys said some of the realistic things to you, what's one expectation people have that's unrealistic? What's one expectation that people have that's unrealistic? Okay, welcome to the live stream. We're talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. Do social media couples influence your expectations? Ooh. Uh-huh. Channel 54 says, there's no such thing as perfect person. We all have problems. Oh, wow. Bob says, expecting a body to be a housewife. Yeah, okay, that's one. That's one. You want to meet a lady in the club, you met her out there in the streets, you met her out there having fun, and you want to get her from out there, you want to take her from the clubs and domesticate her. That's not even realistic, because if that's the case, go to the church and look for somebody that you can domesticate. Okay, so, and I feel like men always do that. Like, you want to meet someone somewhere, you, of course, you're meeting a baddie somewhere out there. She's beautiful, she's out there doing good things for herself and stuff, and then you want to come bring her home and then expect that she's going to appreciate what you're bringing to the table. No. Bob says another unrealistic expectation are women expecting that men that paid for their love to settle for only them. Wow. Wow. Underline that. Wow, wow, wow. And women expecting men that paid for their love to settle only for them. Okay, they bought your love. Wow, I've never thought about, that's deep, that's profound, that's really profound, because I feel like these days, women, and me being included, most of us are selling our love. Okay, so, and then you sell you meet this nice person, you, at the beginning, you wanted to sell your love, and then you realize, oh, this person is not what I was expecting. This is a great person. So you kind of like stop selling your love. You decide to settle down and to be domesticated with this person and stuff. And then when you do that, like, you know what, Bob? I see your point, and I feel like it always happens. It always happens. Okay, so because if you're selling, why wouldn't he buy from somebody else? Okay, if you're selling, why wouldn't he buy from someone else? Okay, also, I feel like another unrealistic expectation is when men meet women. I feel like somebody already said that. Okay, you meet a woman out there. Let's say she was even doing sex work, sex working. Okay, let's say a woman was even doing sex working. Okay, you get them from off of there. The fact that, and then you get upset when she doesn't like be loyal to you. What are you upset about? You should know that who the person was. They might tell you that they might change, but that's who they really are. That's who they really are. Okay. Channel says, are you domesticated? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I'm domesticated? Jackson says, Bob expecting he's gonna get with the sugar mom sounds like a perfect example of unrealistic expectations. Okay. And also him expecting to get with the sugar mama and start a family is that, it's not bad for you to say, I want a sugar mama just for a period of time in my life, just to have it on my record that I had a sugar mama. But him saying that you want to settle with that person, it's really crazy. So channel T54 says, are you domesticated? What do you think? Do you think I am? Do you think I'm domesticated? Okay, all of you raise your hands if you think I'm domesticated. uh, Wesna Rosia says, hello Wesna, where are you watching me from? Welcome to the live stream. We are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships, and also, do we expect too much from love today? My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much. Silva Martinez says, hi Silva Martinez, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Jackson says, domesticated like a cat. No, can you guys, maybe somebody research the meaning of domesticated? I feel like domesticated, it means somebody who is traditional, like somebody who wants to stay at home, cook, clean, not like a cat. I feel like that's a term that men always use, especially when they are looking for somebody to control or something. I just don't know. Do social media couples influence your expectations? So, Bob, how do social media couples influence your expectations when it comes to relationships? And guys, if you're watching this, kindly subscribe. It really helps me out, honestly. Kindly subscribe. Let's like, let's sub up. Let's sub up, you guys. Okay. So Bob, how do social media affect your relationship? So how do social media affect your expectations? Yes. So let's start there, okay? But Jackson, it's really funny that you asked if I meant domesticated like a cat. I feel like that's the funniest thing that I've read today. Social media made me believe I had to pay for love. Honestly, I think I did say in the beginning of the show that like podcast influencers, there are people out here who are just making videos telling women and also men what they should be. Also there was a controversial guy who used to do YouTube here on used to do live stream here on YouTube. His name was, I think, Kibe. He was telling men, when you get to the house, listen up. He was saying when a man gets to the house, the children should run to the back room, like the woman should make the children run to the back room. And then when he gets in there, he should be hugged. There should be warm water waiting for him. He should be received with a lot of hugs and kisses. And then they should be sitting there with the woman. And then he's the one who is supposed to say when the children should come out. Mind you, it's his children that he's talking about. Like he literally was teaching men to be nonchalant, abusive, toxic, and honestly, men were borrowing that. Also, there's this guy on Twitter, and maybe most of you follow him, Amerix, okay? I have read most of his quotes, especially how he tells men to eat clean, not to sow their seeds everywhere. I think that's realistic and that's good advice, okay? But some of the things that he says, don't be a simp, don't do this, don't do that to a woman, or don't help a woman in the house. Some of those things, honestly, they are realistic and unrealistic at the same time, okay? Because honestly, you can't sit here and tell me that like you have children, these are your children, these are your seeds. Nobody sowed those seeds for you. You did that. You can say that like when you show up, the children should run to the back room and fear you, that your children should fear you. When you show up, the children should fear you, and you're the one who is supposed to tell your woman, you're supposed to tell her, Mama Wachoto, go and get the children. Your children should be there. Your children should want to meet you. Your children should want to run to you. So I feel like there's so many podcasts, like Bob said, there's so many podcasts, there's so many people who are giving advice for clicks. Do they do these things in real life? No. Okay, there are also people who are telling men not to allow themselves to be friend zoned by women. It's something about like that. You should never allow a woman to friend zone you. Honestly, you could. What if you're even in a relationship but you have a really good friend, a lady that you guys you support each other, and I say that because I also have a friend I have friends who are male, and we are literally good friends. I'm friends with their women and stuff. But I just feel like these are unrealistic things that we are being told to do. Okay, guys, make sure you're subbing up and liking. My good name is Womboy. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you've come across. And also, we do have a question. Oh, the question disappeared. Let me pin it. Okay. Do social media couples influence your expectations? Bob says it made him believe that he had to pay for love. Channel T54 says, I wouldn't want a social media relationship. Relationships are supposed to be personal. Okay? Yes, but people who already post their relationships, do that influence the way you're looking at? Like, does that influence or like make you feel like, this is the type of lady that I want, okay? This is what I'm looking for. Does that make you feel that way? Do you feel like, for example, for the people who are married, do you see things that people are posting that they're doing for their partners, and then you are like, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? What's up here? Where did I go wrong? Jackson says, my bad. I think domesticated means something different. Okay, also I feel like the first time, but honestly, I feel like that's why it's used. Most men say that they want domesticated women, but what they say is like they want women that they can control. So it could be something like a cat. You are not necessarily like 100% wrong. uh Bob says, now I'm wiser, she should go and work, I'll cook. Ah! I don't think we'll ever support that, but well and good. Success on that one, Bob. Success. Chanel says, you don't like Kibe. Honestly, I used to watch Kibe. I think he's not profound. I think he's not so real. But I don't dislike him as a person. I just feel like he just wants to present this tough character. He wants men to be nonchalant. And yeah, for him it's all about a personality, okay? After he says all those stuff that he doesn't practice in real life, what does he do at the end of the day? He goes and lives his real life, okay? He says don't be friend zones. He have friends in real life and all those things that he says. So lambistic, I know. Peter Carrier says hi Peter Carrier, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wamboy. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations. Samit Kumar says you're looking so beautiful, gorgeous, shine. Thank you so much. Welcome back on the channel. So you friend zoned your male friend? No, we've just been friends. It's just like I just know way too much things about them that I wouldn't even want to be their partner, okay? No, not in a bad way. Like, for example, their endeavors during campus days and stuff. So it's not in that way. It's just like we just care about each other and that's just it, okay? So as if you haven't answered, do social media couples influence your expectations, okay? Do you ever like look on social media, for example, for people who have partners, and then you are like, why is my partner not doing this? There are people there are men who are out there gifting their women beautiful cars, and what the only thing that your man can do is impregnate you. That's the only gift that your man can give you. Have you ever sat down and then you're like, no, like, where did I go wrong? Like, where did I go wrong? What's wrong with me? The only great gift your man can give you is impregnating you. Wow. Okay, I gotta say, when it comes to do social media couples influence my expectations? Yes, okay. I think one of the things that I've been influenced by, I always admire men who go and do vasectomies for their women, okay? Like, for example, you guys have had 2 or 3 children. Oh, maybe you don't even have a child at all, but you guys don't want to have a child. I just admire when a man just goes and does vasectomy. God, that just makes me think that this man is so hot. Like, even thinking about it, like thinking about, I don't want my lady on pills. I don't want her to have those hormonal reactions. Also, like the fact that this man is being responsible. Like, okay, enough of this little ass. Like, enough of that. Okay, so do social media couples influence my expectation? Yes. Because the whole vasectomy thing, when I see men doing that, honestly, it's hot, because it's always, when it comes to birth control, it's always about women. It's always about, even when women get pregnant without, let's say that there was no plan, by mistake, quote unquote, by mistake, which I think you can never get pregnant by mistake. Always, when you're engaging in sexual activities, there's usually an outcome, which we all know, but we decide to ignore. I feel like the whole thing about birth control have mostly been left to women, and seeing men who take control when it comes to that, God, that is hot. A man who just goes and does a vasectomy for the lady, so that his woman doesn't have to experience all those things that I just mentioned. That's really hot for me. So, do social media couples influence my expectation? Yes. Bob says, when I marry my wife, I'll make you people feel that way too. Okay, make sure you post and make sure you come on here so that we can be able to know that you have a wife. Okay, honestly, I feel like it's good. It's all fun and games until like people are making assumptions about your relationship, about and not to mention every person's advice. Do this, do that. Ni Ogre says, send some love. Welcome to the live stream. So let me know. Men in the chat, maybe this is too much information, or like maybe it's private. Would you guys consider, like, let's say vasectomy when it comes to like easing that burden off of your women? Like, you don't want your woman to be reacting to all those things, because I feel like that's really hot, because most men say no. Okay, I feel like that's really hot. That's really hot to get a man to do that. Okay, guys, remember you're talking about unrealistic expectations and realistic expectations in relationships. Okay, maybe we should give. Okay, I feel like most people in the chat have already given their unrealistic expectation. What is one of your unrealistic, for those who have not given, what is one of your unrealistic expectations that you have, but you can't let it go? Okay, one of the unrealistic expectations that you have, I feel like it's unrealistic for you to be, I feel like men are not emotional beings to start with. Okay, so I always want a man who is emotionally available. Okay, and that's something a non-negotiable for me. Emotionally available. Okay, I just don't want somebody to just be physically available. I want emotional availability. And the fact that I want emotional availability, I know that's unrealistic, but that's something that is non-negotiable for me. Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Womboy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know where you're watching me from. Also, we're talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. So let me know some of your unrealistic expectations that you have, but some of them that are non-negotiable to you. Okay, make sure you're subscribing, you guys. Nathan Bunitao says, hey my friend, I'm from Brazil, I love your skin. Oh wow, thank you. uh Bob says, I won't do vasectomy. You know what, Bob? You're not my type. You won't do vasectomy. But you know what? But how will you guys control? How will you guys do your birth control? Because I always feel like people who always end up with like 20 children, the blame is always on the woman. The society only looks at the woman. But it takes two to lay down and produce a child. Okay? Why is it like we always put that on women? Okay? Why don't we turn around and look and see, like, why don't men take accountability? So Bob, you says that you won't do vasectomy. So how will you guys do birth control? Okay, I know it's too much information, but it's something that we gotta talk. We gotta talk and see how about that. Okay. Okay, I think that's too much information. I feel like that's too much information, but okay, but so that's another unrealistic expectation that I have. I want a man who thinks about me when it comes to things like that. Okay, somebody who wants to take the load off of you. That's just me. That's just me. Maybe that's too much to ask. So is love enough without financial stability? And if you say no, let me know why. If you say yes, let me know why. Is love enough without financial stability? Is love enough without financial stability? Is love enough without financial stability? Bob says, of course, but it breaks too. Okay. So is love enough without financial stability? Guys, remember we're talking about unrealistic expectations. Let me know some of the unrealistic expectations that you have, maybe of yourself, of your partner. So is love enough without financial stability? Honestly, I think I've said so many times on this channel, like, at the end of the day, what I believe in is, like, we are not going to be eating love. Okay, at the end of the day, we are not going to say, we are so in love, let's eat this love. Okay, that will never happen. So is love enough without financial stability? I feel like love is enough to allow people to go through different phases of their lives, to allow people to go through different challenges that they have, because love is the only thing that can help you to be able to hold on together and to navigate, okay? But I don't feel like love alone is enough. There have to be effort, there have to be, okay, love is not, love is something but it's not enough, okay? At the end of the day, you guys are staying in a house, okay? Somebody gotta pay for the house, somebody gotta pay the electricity, somebody gotta pay the internet, somebody, somebody needs to be paying something, okay? So I think I've said so many times, I don't think love is enough. Love is something, it helps you to navigate through different phases of your life, especially for the married people, but it's not enough. You guys need to have more than love. Okay, so let me know, for those of you who haven't answered, let me know uh, the answer when it comes to that. Uh, Jackson says, as long as you have the basic, love is enough, in my opinion. And what is basic? What is the basics when it comes to? So, what is the basics, Jackson? What is the basics? Okay, what is the basics? Okay, but I also feel like also your relationship with finances, when it comes, I feel like people's relationship with finances, the background they grow up in, also determines in like it determines in like who they settle with, what are they looking for, because I feel like poor people you're trying to get as far away from poverty, so the richer the person is, the better. Yeah. Bob says, as a soft boy, a financial, I've no, I can't believe I'm reading this. As a soft boy. As a soft boy, a financially unstable woman can't take care of me. God. No, that just sounds wrong, but okay. Okay, so for you, the woman got to have some money, okay? That's an expectation that you have, and you gotta hold yourself to it. Like, you gotta make sure that you're holding yourself to it. Because I feel like most of the time, having standards is good, okay? These standards versus expectations, okay? Standards are good because they prevent you from like dealing with like people who don't even deserve your time, your energy, your effort, okay? Having standards is a good thing, but there is a huge difference between uh having realistic standards and just pushing it. Jackson says food, water, a job, a house, and a car are the basics. No, first of all, I come from Kenya. I was born and raised in Kenya, so for me basic is food, water, house. A job, a car is not a basic, but I know in America a car is a basic need. No, a car is not a basic need in let me talk about Kenya. I don't want to say about other, most of us, we didn't grow up with cars, we haven't had cars, but I know if, like for example in the US, without a car you're literally struggling, not to mention there's snow and stuff. So out here, if you have food, water, and a house, you're just good to go. A job and a car is just that's just excess, okay? That's now show off. That's show off. Okay. Bob says aka basics in Africa. No, I don't think aka is basic need in Africa. Is aka basic need to you? Okay, guys, we are talking about unrealistic expectations. Somebody is saying that like aka is a basic need. Okay, but I know Jackson. No, and we are not okay. And I know like in the US, a car is a basic need, but honestly, even a bicycle here is not a basic need. We have feet that are very well constructed. Okay, we are pedestrian. Bob says in Nigeria it isn't. It's middle class and up. Honestly, out here it's up. Okay, it's the rich people who have cars, like middle class, yeah, on foot. We like animals. That's what's up out here, you guys. Make sure you're subscribing, you guys. John Munyas says in Kenya everything is possible. Sometimes even house is not basic. Tell me about it. Okay, even a house is not a basic need out here. Okay, as far as you have food and water, you're just good to go. A house is not a basic need in Kenya. Okay, and I don't want you guys to come and beat me up, but honestly, there are people who are living without those things because Jackson tells us that like food, water, a job, house, car is a basic need. So I just said food. Oh Lord, my brother is just calling me. I'm gonna call you back. Okay, so sometimes even a house is not basic. Yeah, it's not basic. Jackson said, my bad. In New Zealand, things are a bit different. Okay? And I know even in the US, like, I know a car is a basic need. Even a house is not a basic need in Kenya. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's not a basic need. Yeah. Like the way you have standards when it comes to houses. Out here, nobody cares, like, what you're living inside as far as you're living. People will only be scared if you don't have food, but if you don't have a place to stay, that doesn't phase us. Mtoto wa Shosho says, hey, my name is Uhud. Okay, welcome to the live stream. How are you? Good to see you guys. Sub up. Let's sub up, you guys. Luyanda Mjibo says, hi to you. Let me know some of the basic needs from where you are at. Guys, let me know the unrealistic expectations. Let me know unrealistic expectations that you guys have, or like that you have met people and then unrealistic expectations in relationship. That's what you're talking about. Omuye Pira, welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? Bob says in Nigeria those are middle class and up basics. Okay. yeah, for poor people, like you just construct a shack. You just put together a shack and that's it. You put together a shack and that's it. Yeah, that's just what it is. You look for some paper, some mud, things like that. You put together something and that's it. Life goes on. But honestly, we are making fun of that, but I feel like that's why Africans, or like people from African countries, I feel like that's why people from African countries, we should literally stop the whole thing of like having 20 children, because honestly it's not cool. We are making fun about like not having basic needs, but honestly it shouldn't be that way. We should maybe let us be the first people, before you have 20 children, think about like what type of house are you gonna bring them in. Okay, Omuye Peter, stop disturbing me. Honestly, God, I don't want to remove you, but I just heard you. John Munyasa says, okay, Papa Champion says, you from Kenya? Yes, welcome to the live stream. John Munyasa says, maybe in developed countries, things like cars and jobs are basic, but in developing countries, things are different. Yes. And I feel like even with the developing countries, we shouldn't normalize poverty, okay? We shouldn't be laughing. We are laughing here, but it's not really funny. Growing up, of course, I have told you guys several times, I grew up in a village. Like, we were literally struggling for everything you would ever think about. God, everything was such a struggle. And growing up in those circumstances have shaped who I am. That's one of the reasons that I don't want children, because that was, poverty is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Let me tell you, poverty is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. It's humbling. It's not beautiful. It's not encouraging. There's no dignity in poverty, Yeah. So, okay, Bob says children are not the problem. But sometimes they are. Because if you don't bring another person, for example, it's Bob, you don't have a house. Why are you bringing children? and you don't have a house and you don't even have a way to like construct a house. Honestly, guys, is am I being like so are children the problem? Are they not the problem? Like, should you have children if you don't have the basics set out for them? A house, a way to feed them? Should you have children? Okay, this is just an honest question that I'm asking you guys. Should you have children? Because I feel like most of us, we were just told that that's just what's normal, like living in poverty, growing up in almost like you're living outside, no mattress, no comfort whatsoever. And that was normal. Like, our parents felt so proud that that they were showing up however they were. Okay. Bob says Africa has the youngest population, meaning we have the manpower. We do, but can you see? Jackson is saying that a car is a basic need. And we are out here laughing, saying that like even a bicycle is not a basic need. Uh, Husband and wife are basics or wants. Uh, they, I feel like those are wants. What do you guys think? Do you think husband and wife is a basic need or a want? Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Kindly like up, and subscribe, you guys. Let's grow together. Bob says the problems, we don't challenge the government enough. We don't challenge the government enough, but also I feel like we always, you know, there's a problem in your house. You're being abusive to your wife. Oh my God, government help, government. You know, and especially right now in Kenya, anything happens, whoever must go. You know, that's what we are saying. But will that person come and plan your house? Will that person come and build your house? You know, let's be realistic sometimes, okay? Let's be realistic sometimes. We don't challenge our governments enough, but still at the same time, we are also doing things that do not make our lives better. Bob says Madhus talked about population hundreds of years ago in the UK. Their population has more than quadrupled and they are still doing okay. Okay, you know, I feel like if there are opportunities, then the population is okay. But I'm not talking about generally as a group. I'm talking about you as a person. When it comes down to it, population is a good thing because it makes a country grow. But when it comes down to it, to your own household, to the way your children experience life, that's something. uh yeah, but Bob says, but yeah, you shouldn't have unplanned kids. Yeah, or even if you have, just make sure you are like trying to be to guard. Just make sure you're not trying to traumatize children, innocent children. Nothing, you know, because most of the time children who are born in poverty, and me being part of the equation, I feel like you get your childhood taken away from you. You don't get to be a child. You don't get to be a child. Sazimana Simoni says, I love you, my sister. Welcome to the live stream, Sazimana Simoni. Thank you so much for being here. We are still talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. So is soft life, is the whole thing, the whole quote unquote soft life changing relationship expectations? Let me type that. Is soft life changing relationship expectations the whole thing of like everybody wanting to be, you know, I'm such a soft girl, I'm such a soft boy, like Bob was saying. So does that change the dating scene? Does that change like the expectation? Does that change what people are looking for, what people are willing to tolerate? Okay, is soft life changing relationship expectation? I think for first of all, like right now, if you're not being loved softly, if you're not in a relationship where like there's soft life, even your family is gonna condemn you, like, oh my God, why are you doing, what are you doing in there, like, uh you know, I think we've just normalized this whole idea of like softness. Honestly, I am here for it. Okay, some of us, you know, for the last couple of days, I think I have been like looking into like Michael Jackson as a person and like who he was, okay? And I've been looking into this story, and like for him, he says his childhood was taken away from him. He didn't have a childhood, and the whole of his adult years, he tried to like to like become a child, to be a child, to like to tap into whatever he missed out on, okay? Of which I feel like you could never. So the fact is, because most people have lived a hard life, that's just the honest truth, okay? Most people have lived a hard life, okay? So the whole like, if you get a chance for soft life, I think people are just running away with it. So is that changing how what people are expecting when it comes to relationships? Is that changing what you're looking for when it comes to women looking for men, men looking for women? Does that change how you see the other gender? Okay, does that change how you see the other gender? Does that change how you show up? You know. I think at the end of the day, first of all, there is something that really unrealistic with the society, okay? People want you to end up with somebody who have everything figured out, and then they get surprised if you show up with an older person. Okay, what are you being surprised about? Okay, you guys want me to show up with somebody who's got things figured out, okay? Then why are you surprised if somebody shows up with an older person, a little bit older? Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? That's real life, okay? That's real life. Okay, although I'm not talking about older where like one person is not of age. I'm talking about where like both people are of age, okay? Why do people get surprised when like you show up with somebody who is older? Well, they're expecting you to look for soft life, okay? I feel like there's something, these expectations that would literally send a low effort man into shockwaves, okay? How about when somebody says like they want a partner, like whenever they spend their own money, for example, I'm a lady. If I spend my own money on anything, I'm expecting my guy, what if I say that I'm expecting my man to refund that? I don't care if I did it for myself, like I bought something that I was really in need, like there's some women who say that they need that to be refunded, like they need somebody to reimburse that, okay? And I feel like men like Bob, who wants to look for somebody who is financially stable, a woman who is financially stable, I think that would literally send you into shockwaves. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. I think we're almost coming to the end, so you guys let me know what you're thinking, and also your parting shots, or like what you think in short, like your summary when it comes to this topic. And also let me know, do we expect too much from love today? 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 Let me type that. Do we expect too much from love today? So because I feel like that was the whole purpose of the conversation. I think that was the main focus. Do we expect too much from love today? Yes. Gone are the days. I feel like gone are the days. For example, when I look, I like to use personal examples because I just don't want to always be like talking about a hypothetical person. I want to like literally talk about real life, okay? So thinking about, and when I look at my parents' relationship, I just hope they never get to watch these things, okay? But when I look into their relationship, there wasn't enough, there wasn't a lot of thought, okay? There wasn't like, what are you bringing to there wasn't that. Like, it's like, back in the day, you were getting married to get status, status, okay, to have children, to feel like you're a contributing member of the society. So I feel like that was the sole reason of getting married back in the day, or like when they got married. But when I look at, if I take my mom and put her in another generation, like if it's right now, honestly, she would have never gotten married to that man, literally, because she would have been looking at the things that we are looking, especially monetary. Also, back in the day, they even didn't care if a man is being abusive, physically, emotionally. That wasn't something that stops a woman from getting married. But right now, there is. Okay, so do we expect too much from love today? I think yes. That being the example. Omuyepira says hi to you. Gamet Time says hello, welcome to the live stream. Oh my god, welcome to the channel. Watching all the way from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Oh my god, yeah, somebody's watching me from Trinidad. I think your country is cool. Welcome here, welcome on board, and welcome to be a member of the channel. Dike Ugui, oh my god, it's been a minute. Yes, we do expect too much. Most are too lazy. It's all the man and what he can do, okay? But don't you think also men have unrealistic expectation when it comes to sexuality, how they want to be treated by women, how they want their women to be freaky? Don't you think also men have unrealistic expectations, how they expect their women to be domesticated and all of that? Don't you think also that? Because for me, I'm just saying in general, I think we expect too much from love today? Yes. I feel like most of us, we are going into love looking for mothers. Men are going into love looking for mothers instead of wives. We are going into love looking for a therapist instead of a wife. You're going into love looking for a cleaner instead of a wife. You're going into love looking for a, what is it called, a messenger instead of a wife. You're going into dating, or like into love looking for a punching bag instead of a wife. I feel like everybody got their own thing going on. When it comes to women, you're going into love looking for a bank. You're looking for a bank, okay, when you're going to look for love instead of a husband. You're going into love looking for also therapist instead of love, a doctor, gynecologist instead of looking for a husband. We are going into love looking for a protector instead of a husband. Of course, a husband should be a protector, okay? You're going into love looking for good looks, somebody who really looks nice instead of love, okay? You're going into a relationship hoping that your ambitions and your goals are gonna be nurtured instead of, yeah, back in the day, it just used to be like, I want you, you want me, boom. I don't care about your character. Okay, I think character mattered, but it wasn't that emphasized. Dike says, the way I see it, yes, division of labor. The man brings in the money and the woman looks after the children. Okay, so that's the way you see it. Okay, but that can be unrealistic also, especially if you didn't communicate your expectation to the woman. If you didn't say from the go, I'm looking for somebody who stays at home, okay? If you didn't say that, I feel like that can be unrealistic. The woman going out to look for money is what has us having children going off the rails. Really? But also women staying at home, and when it's time to ask for money from men, you guys always say like, oh my god, you literally giving me a lot of pressure. I feel like the reason why women got out of the house and went to look for jobs is because of the mistreatment that they were undergoing. Somebody is providing for you, so they now want to control you. They are the one in the position of power. I feel like whoever feeds you gets to control you. That's your master. Whoever feeds you is your master. So I feel like most women underwent through a lot during the time where like women 100% depended on men, and I feel like that's where men went wrong. Okay, so I don't feel like women working or like going out to look for money is what have children in rails. Okay, I just feel like maybe because men are not standing their position, and some of them say that they are. You want to say, I'm a traditional man, I'm a provider, and then when there's no salt in the house, when your woman is going through that time of the month that she needs some things, you are like, you're just giving me pressure, you're asking for too much, you're not getting satisfied. How about I go and look for myself instead of having to discuss my personal needs with you? Okay, Yeah, and I feel like every one of us have a mother, okay? And especially for those of us like who our mothers were stay-at-home mothers, we all know that it wasn't easy for them. We've seen that it wasn't easy for them, okay? So we can't sit here and act as if it was easy, okay? Because most of the time, personally, I've never been married, okay? So the things that I say from the experience that I've gotten through looking at that marriage, my parents' marriage. uh Dike says, when a woman goes out to look for money, it's a dysfunctional home, okay? And I see there are men who just are naturally providers. They just want to provide. They are good men. I feel like there are good women and men out there. But you gotta hope you bump into the best one, because when you bump into uh, Tom and Jerry, you're going to cry, okay? You're going to cry, like when you want something, like you really need something. Somebody is saying that they want to provide, but when you really need them, that's when you realize that it's not that easy, okay? Let me see. So these high expectations making people incompatible, okay? The fact that like now we have these expectations that are almost impossible, okay? So are the expectation making people incompatible even more? Like, do you feel like right now in the current society with the expectations that we have, does that make us does the expectations make us more compatible or more incompatible? Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wamboy. I was born and raised in Kenya. This is I Am Wamboy Live. I normally go live every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So look for me around that hour. So tomorrow I'll still be here live. So we always talk about every topic that you would think about. Like every other day, we'd show up with a different topic. So buckle up. This, I feel like you're in the best place. Also, yes. So that's the introduction to me. And also, like for example, today we are talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. So tomorrow you're gonna come back with something totally different or maybe related. So I feel like maybe if you want to have wholesome conversations, this is a place you should be, or like you should want to like hang around and see what we talk about, okay? So to the question of like these expectations making people incompatible, I think so because with these expectations at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes it's just impossible to even satisfy people. It's impossible to, because the moment like I have an expectation and you can't satisfy that, that makes us incompatible, okay. So I don't know what made more sense to you. Maybe it would have been the where I talked about expecting one person to fulfill every need, where you're looking for a best friend, a therapist, a provider, motivator, and soulmate, okay? Or maybe it would have been financial expectation, where like you're looking at for a huge fortune from someone, okay? Also, we also talked about the influence of relationship advice, or how like podcasters, people are giving advice that they don't even follow or they don't even believe in, okay? We also talked about the sexual expectations that men have that literally unrealistic, pornographic, watching things like that. We've also talked about unrealistic expectations when it comes to gender roles. Some men are looking for traditional women, quote unquote domesticated women, while they are offering modern settlement. We've also talked about some women want traditional providers while wanting total independence. So I think those are two different things, okay? Also, I think we've talked about instant gratification. John Fire says, watching from UK. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much, UK, all the way from UK. Yay! Welcome on here, okay? We've been talking about unrealistic expectations in relationships. We've talked about instant gratification. People leave relationships quickly after conflict these days, because you know what? There's so many other options. There's dating sites. So even if you leave this person right now, maybe in the next 2 hours, or I don't know after how long, you'll have another person. I think we've talked about so many things, and I don't know what stuck with you, but I feel like what stuck with me is like, honestly, right now, everybody got some standards. You gotta make sure you communicate yours, because I can bet you money that the person you want to settle with, the person that you're saying don't have expectations, they do have, even if they don't communicate them. So so this question that I feel like all of us should ask ourselves: would you rather lower your expectations or stay single until you find exactly what you want? Would you rather lower your expectations or stay single until you find exactly what you want? Would you rather lower your expectation or stay single until you find exactly what you want? John Fire says, what about impact of social media or dating now? Oh my God, we've talked about that. I did ask people, like, do they think the couples that they see online influence the way they look at relationships or how they want to be treated here and there in relationships? And yeah, social media, Lord. Okay, I have talked about how podcasters say things that they don't even practice in real life just so that they can get clicks. And you see, some of us women who are watching, we take that serious. And also men, there are men who are podcasters, doing podcasts, influencing other men, advising men to be nonchalant, advising men to be toxic, advising men to be cold. There are women who are out there advising women to be gold diggers, advising women to not settle for less, advising women to do all this stuff, to do this all this stuff to like to look better, advising women, for example, out here in Kenya, there are women who are even podcasters advising women to even bleach their skin to attract men, stuff like that. There's a lot of things. Then the influence of social media, John Fire, is literally a lot. So I would advise everybody, if you've just joined the conversation and would like to have more of this conversation, kindly subscribe so that you can see me tomorrow. We're already at 2 hours. We usually stop at exactly at 2 hours. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me. These have been such a full circle conversations. I would literally do this conversation all over again because this is such a personal conversation. And I think everybody, as far as you're in the dating site or you are in this dating scene, I don't care if you're married, I don't care if you're engaged, I don't care if you're single, you gotta deal with these things. Those people who are married, they are dealing with unrealistic expectations from their women, from their wives. Those who are not married are dealing with unrealistic expectations from their partners, from people that they are meeting. Those who are single looking for people during dates, you're dealing with that. Let's say a man is expecting a woman to pay for the date. We are literally dealing with that. That's real life for every one of us, okay? So I feel like this is such a conversation. This is a conversation that everybody should be having. But I feel like one thing that I'll advise you, let me tell you, before anyone props up this camera, they clean up the mess. So they start. Don't fall for what you see on social media. Listen and maybe filter the information, see what you can follow and see what you cannot follow, okay? Queen Duke says hi. Hi Queen. Oh my God, when I see queens in here, I really like that. I really like when I see queens in here because honestly, I feel like I attract men on the channel. I don't know what about me makes men stay, but even my analytics say that like men stay here. So Queen Duke, welcome here. Welcome. You're the next. You're the queen, okay? Welcome. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me. Oh my God, we could literally go back and forth. Let me give you guys a minute before we. Maybe if anyone is typing something, kindly type. Guys, also let's subscribe. Queen Duku says thank you. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me. See you guys tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed so that you can see me another time. You get notified when I go live. So see you guys tomorrow. Also interact with my content. And thank you so much for contributing to this topic. And until next time, bye bye.